What's up, gamers, and welcome back for more WotC-20. Today's matchup is Muck versus Shining Kings. This is a Dark Muck build with Forretress, though it's not the Forretress you'll expect. It'll be Dark Forretress instead of the usual Metal Forretress that we see here and there in shop. So opening actives are Hoot Hoot in the active versus Cleffa. Cleffa gets a water energy for Kingdra, and it looks like it will be in Eek. Turn passing over to what I guess I'll refer to right now as Pineco. And it will be a grass attached to that Pineco. You can see a darkness energy in hand. It looks like also a Rocket's Trap and an Elm. So heavy disruption deck, aiming to cripple the hand, get some early pressure on. And Dark Fortress being a grass type instead of a metal type. Waiting for Eek to resolve before playing the Rocket's Trap, but as I was saying, Dark Fortress being a grass type instead of a metal type means that we will not see any metal energy in this deck, I don't think. Rocket's Trap dice roll. It's a head, so that will take 3 random cards in the opponent's hand and shuffle them back into the deck. So that Eek just turned into what is effectively a Shaman. And the 3 are being chosen at random right now. While we are talking about hand disruption, keep in mind that Hoot Hoot will eventually become a Noctowl. Most likely Neogenesis Noctowl N1 for that Glaring Gaze ability, which allows you once a turn to flip a coin, and if heads, look at the opponent's hand, and then shuffle away a trainer card there of your choice. And you can use that on a per Noctowl basis. Now we see an Elm, so no more trainer cards after this. But we'll see if there are more basic energy to join the bench. Right now, that Pineco from Neo Destiny looking a little lonely. Alright, while that is resolving, part of the namesake of Shining Kings is Shining Raichu. There's only a single copy in the deck because that is a rule for Shining Pokemon in general, but it is one of the biggest damage dealers and pivot options in that deck. Rocket Hideout comes down, so as we were talking about before with Dark Fortress and Dark Muck, those will gain extra HP, and now a Grimer has joined the bench. So that is the Rocket's Grimer. Funny card art, 40 HP Grimer, worth noting the only 40 HP Grimer in format. All other Grimers are 50 HP. But Poison Gas isn't bad attack, it is a definitive sleep for 1 grass energy. And now into a Rocket Sneak Attack, so now the hand will be looked at. There's an Item Finder, Fan Club, Horsey, and DCE. So Fan Club goes in. Rocket Sneak Attack, basically a Noctowl's Glaring Gaze, except you don't have to flip. You just look at the hand, pick a trainer, choose one, shuffle it in. So lots of disruption turn 1. Even though there was an Eek, looking at a 3-card hand, Item Finder doesn't look very useful. Oh, and now they are catching that because Elm was played, not only could that Stadium not be played, but that Rocket Sneak Attack could also not be played, so that was erroneous. That's why you usually leave Elm out on the table, just as a reminder. Same deal with supporter cards. Elm, kind of like the first supporter ever. So now we know that we will be seeing a Fan Club. Horsey comes down to the bench with that DCE, Reverse Thrust being a very good attack. And now we see the Fan Club, so 50 HP Horsey, that Reverse Thrust deals 20 damage, and then you switch it with one of your bench Pokemon, so it can hide behind a baby like Cleffa. Cleffa can free retreat into it, and then it can attack if you want to just hit something for 20. So, very good basic Pokemon. Retreat cost of 1 doesn't really matter because of Reverse Thrust. Another Horsey joins the bench, that's from Aquapolis. And the Shining Raichu comes out, so never good if it's prized, but obviously here it wasn't. Thunder Squall requires 2 lightning energy and 2 water. If the opponent has any bench Pokemon, you can choose one of them, and the attack will deal 10 damage to that Pokemon for each water attached to Shining Raichu. And it will also deal 40 to active, so huge bench sniping capabilities if you have Rainbow Energy, for example. That can pay for the cost, but it will also count towards the water energy count, so you can get lightning on it from Rainbow, and then Rainbow will augment the water energy damage to bench. So we'll keep an eye on that. That'll be an important card. The reason it combos so well with Kingdra, and it's not the Kingdra you would expect. Usually Kingdra is referred to as the Neo Revelation Kingdra, but we're going to be talking about the Aquapolis Kingdra, because Water Cyclone on that Kingdra allows you to move energy around to make that Raichu's attack a little more accessible than it would be normally. Back on Forretress' side, we have our first Dark Forretress joining the game. It has that explosion attack for 60, very energy efficient, but Forretress would also deal 60 to itself. Of course, with the Rocket Hideout online, it will survive that. And there's always the chance that you could armor up. A little more risky, but when you armor up until the end of your next turn, if Forretress would be knocked out by damage from an attack, you flip a coin, and if heads it's not knocked out, it has 10 HP instead. So you can use that to absorb a hit from your opponent and then also survive your own explosion. Now we're seeing the sneak attack from the previous turn. There's another fan club, but there's also a gust and a trader. Very good hand. And there is one of those Revelation Kingdra in the hand, so this deck is running both. But I primarily think of the deck as primarily being centric to the Aquapolis Kingdra. So the deck has some branching evolution options, good amount of flexibility. Both Kingdra take use of a double water and then double colorless attack as their big attack. So fairly easy Mon line to split. Very matchup dependent as well. Sometimes you want the 120 HP Kingdra from Aquapolis, sometimes you want the 90 HP Kingdra from Revelations. And that other fan club bringing out Cleffa. So now there are 2 Cleffa, 2 Horsey, and a Raichu, so feeling very good on Shining King's side. And attached for turn will be a water energy to Cleffa. So powering up the Cleffas. Not sure the Cleffas are at much risk, since Dark Forretress deals so much damage to itself. Swinging against Cleffa with Dark Forretress is definitely not ideal. I'd definitely use Muck for that. Muck notably very good at trapping free retreaters like babies. But remember, Reverse Thrust is not going to... or Reverse Thrust is going to get around the sticky goo effect of a Dark Muck. If we see a Dark Muck. And ER comes down, taking a grass energy off the board for Forretress. Computer search discarding Pokemon Center and a Cleffa, I believe. See what gets grabbed here. Might be hand refill. Could also be Evo line, start getting up and running with the Horsies and the Seadras and the Kingdras. Full bench. Lots of horsies. And there is a Kingdra. So first Kingdra of the game coming down. Neogenesis, 70 HP, very strong Mud Splash attack. Doesn't look like much, but it deals 30, which is good against babies. And then you flip a coin to ping the bench for 10. You pick which Pokemon of your opponents you ping on the bench. And Bubble's alright too. And a full grip coming in here from that Professor Elm. Remember, no more trainers, but it's left on the table. And it will be an Eek off the Elm. So Elm not doing much. Now you see the Dark Muck in hand. Fun card. It'll be at 80 HP thanks to the Stadium, and Sludge Punch is pretty good. 2 grass, 20 damage, guaranteed poison. That'll take care of a baby. There comes down Dark Muck. Sticky Goo saying as long as Dark Muck is active, the opponent pays 2 more to retreat. Lopsided and brutal. Kingdra found off of that Eek. No prizes taken yet. Something tells me this game's gonna get blown wide open, either by Forretress or otherwise. Rainbow to Cleffa, now attaching extra energy to that Cleffa. Allows for energy movement thanks to Kingdra. So we were talking earlier about Water Cyclone and this Raichu. And energy removal takes more energy off the board, so now Forretress completely stalled out of energy. No energy on board on that side. Let's talk about that Kingdra Water Cyclone. As often as you like during your turn, you can move a water energy from one of your active to one of your bench. And an item finder. So worth noting, the Raichu's not powered up yet, but you could double cycle between your Cleffas to get all the water energy onto the Raichu if you wanted, or onto the Kingdra. Rapids is a good attack. And Rapids would knock out this Hoot Hoot here. So item finder for Elm. There's a very pretty Articuno in the bin. And we'll see what gets grabbed off of Elm. It's another Kingdra. So getting very, very, very set up. think we'll see our first prize of the match here. Move water to Kingdra, bring in the other Cleffa, do the same, bring Kingdra in, and Rapids. The opponent has no energy down and a small hand. Gonna move both energy. Now remember, if you're moving Rainbow, because it's not attaching from hand, you do not have to damage your own Pokemon for 10 as Rainbow normally would when it comes onto the field. Now that all got moved to the Raichu, but... So no attack this turn. Not going to bring the Kingdra active. Makes sense, it has a retreat cost of 3. Would be a little difficult to get that out of the active. Looks like no energy in hand for Dark Muck's side. Hoot also being lightning weak, that will get knocked out by the Raichu's Lightning Squall as the active. And there's the lightning. Active Squall is now, Active Squall? Lightning Squall? Hello? Thunder Squall. That's what it's called. Card pool's just big enough in this format to confuse me. And before an attack, looks like we'll see a trader getting rid of a Kingdra, which I'm surprised wouldn't come down, for another Kingdra, probably. That's right. Both Kingdras active now. Lots of flexibility and options there. Thunder Squall getting a double knockout on the Hoot and the Cleffa. That was 40 super effective to the Hoot for 80. And then 40 to the bench, which was that poor Cleffa. Now there's an energy drawn, but it's too late for the Cleffa. A Hoot and a Grimer join the bench. Dark Muck has an Imposter Oak, but that requires you to discard. And that is what we'll see, I expect, because the Hoot is now back in hand. Grass Energy attaches to active for Dark Muck, but won't be able to attack yet. Raichu will continue to hammer the bench. One more water attached to that Raichu, and that Grimer will also be sniped off. Raichu only has 70 HP, but that is enough to survive Explosion from Dark Fortress. And another Kingdra, so all the Kingdras are here, but all the energy's on the Raichu. Water attach for turn to Kingdra? Certainly not. Nope, it is. Nope. DCE onto that Kingdra, okay. Ah, yes, as I mentioned earlier, that Grimer has 40 HP, not 50, so there were enough attaches to knock it out already. My bad on that. Three prizes left for Kingdra, sitting pretty comfortable with the Shining Raichu in the active. Just picking off the bench, knocking things out. Looks like Dark Fortress is down to 10 HP. Two prizes left, might not need it. Grass off the top, and that will be game. So, pretty smooth sailing for Kingdra. Dark Fortress wasn't able to get enough disruption up. Noctowl was in the prizes. That's how it goes. Thank you for watching.